Welcome back to the Good Talk, where we discuss what's hot and grot, both Warhammer and otherwise. John, it's been a while since we've been on this couch.
Yeah, it's a comfy couch. Smells a little bit, but it's nice.
We do have to
wow,
clean this couch.
we didn't choose a different pillow for that, huh? You really just
a girl
stuffed it in.
who loves pineapples.
Don't squeeze it too hard, my pop.
I also have an inflatable pineapple over here, but we're going to keep that out of frame. It's too big.
That's for us.
Okay, so Dataslate, huh?
Yeah.
A lot came out. A lot changed.
A huge amount of changes. If you didn't watch already, in the morning, Adrian had kind of like a coverage of all this Dataslate changes.
Check it out.
But I think we were talking mostly about Death Guard, but we can talk about other things too, especially if you have super chats. Please feel free to super chat, and we can hit anything specific that you want to talk about, or give us your thoughts.
Yeah, and I think so. I'll talk a little bit about Death Guard, and I think most of what I'm going to say applies to most of the factions in the Dataslate.
Yeah.
Death Guard had some problems. They were pretty apparent.
Fundamental problems.
They are slow, so they struggle to just play the mission at all. Their stats are really bad for their points.
Yeah.
So,
fixable.
Right, in theory, fixable.
Somewhat.
And their rules were lacking direction or focus.
A little confused.
Or the rules were just lacking in general. They didn't really have a ton of rules. And what the Dataslate did was it sort of gave them a little bit of rules. I think that the new contagion stuff, you can now, at the start of every game, choose units within contagion range of you are -1 toughness, and you pick one of these three things. They can be -1 leadership and OC. They can be -1 ballistic skill and weapon skill, or they can be -1 save. This is obviously a bump in power level. This gives Death Guard some more flavor and rules.
Yeah. I'm glad that they were open to adding some rules.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be some time before they get a codex.
Yeah.
If you just did points, if you just made everything cheaper, you fall in this Leagues of Votan hole where it's just like now it's an elite army gone swarm, and you have a bunch of cheap Marines. They're supposed to be elite. Yeah. So I'm glad that they were open to doing that. And the new contagion rules are a little interesting. It gives you a choice at the beginning. Cool. I'm sure there's some cool play into some of the factions, good counters that happen there. So I like it. I like the new contagion rules. But it does feel like something is still off, even with these sweeping changes to Death Guard.
Right, and the other thing they did was ubiquitous points drops.
Yeah.
Everything Death Guard got points decreases, which I thought was a little strange. Plague Burst Crawlers, which are almost efficient, went down in points.
Yeah.
That was weird to me. The Terminators went down in points. Like, everything went down.
Yeah.
Which, I get it. The faction was in desperate need of changes. But just saying, well, here's 15 or 20% more Death Guard.
I think it's strange that it kind of went down equally. Like Terminators that were already good, Plague Burst Crawlers that were already good, you were already taking them, went down just as much as, I don't know.
Plague Marines, Poxwalkers, bad
Poxwalk.
stuff, right? Like,
right.
And this is kind of a trend that I saw across a lot of factions, is that things that were being played, so for some factions, there was across the board like 10% more expensive. These factions are too good, we're just gonna make stuff more expensive. For other factions who are in the middle, there's like, oh, this was getting played a lot, 10% more expensive, and this wasn't getting played at all, so 10% less expensive.
Yep.
And then the bad factions, they were just like, I don't know, everything's 10% less. It didn't feel, now I get it, they need a drastic change, but it didn't feel designed. It didn't feel like they put a ton of thought into it.
Right. I mean, there's 23 factions, but like, they should have at least identified things they should probably hit the table more. Like Drukhari is a good example where Coblight Warriors and Cabal stuff was already being played a lot, and then Coblight Warriors actually dropped more points than
witches
I think witches are a little cheaper now. I think it went down 15 points. Cabal went down 10, but then weirdly the homunculus, the racks went down like 5. So like why? It was a weird move. So I don't know.
Yeah, and something.
Cabal, Yeah, good.
Something I want to say specifically about Death Guard that I think you could extend to a lot of other factions is that points solve some of the problems of, well, my faction is so much weaker than yours that we can't even play a game. What it doesn't solve is that it doesn't feel great to play. Like, having more bad models does make the game closer, but it does not feel good.
Yeah, when you're losing Terminators like left and right accidentally, from my like, I don't know, what was I shooting at you? Some like random psychic weapons.
Your brain flamers.
Yeah,
We're
my
just
flamer,
like picking up Terminators. And we're like, what is happening? What is this? Those are the most expensive models in my codex. And they end up often just kind of slapping stuff. Like, Playlords couldn't do anything. Yeah. And I know I didn't play them optimally. They didn't get to shoot.
Sure, I mean, I kept tagging them up. That was my whole thing. But, like, still.
Terminators should be able to get into combat and do anything.
Yeah.
Like, they were just bad.
I mean, speaking of which, like, Mortarion and
Right.
all the Pox and Typhus, 3 turns, 6 or 7 fight phases
so long.
to kill an emissary or a simulator.
Which is big. I get it. It's a big thing. But we didn't... When the index came out and we looked at Morty and we were disappointed, we weren't disappointed because he's expensive. I think we want him to be big and expensive.
He should be a huge centerpiece that costs a lot and does a lot.
We were disappointed because he was just bad. He just didn't do as much as everybody else.
Yeah.
He was like the lame Primarch.
Which is still
sucks.
probably the
He's
worst.
so cool.
He's very
And
cool.
he's still the worst.
Yeah, T12 though. T12.
He's got T12. And he has some good rules,
Yeah.
but his stats, his offensive abilities are so bad.
He's like a support guy that can maybe help you almost kill something.
He has the same attacks as Typhus.
That doesn't do mortals.
And he's just 4 damage instead of 3. What are they thinking? Who is this Mortarion Primarch? Anyway, I think this data slate is an important needed change.
Yep.
We're pushing towards having games that can be playable. Because I'll tell you what, I was sitting in a game store waiting for a Magic event, and I heard 2 40k players setting up for a game that they had prepared for, and one of them was like, "Oh, I didn't know you had T12. I can't.
Oh no!
We're not even going to play this game because I can't kill T12." Which is like such a sad, embarrassing thing to hear as a third party. Like, they just didn't bother playing because one person brought a couple of models that the other person could never deal with. And there's a lot to unpack there. I get it. There's like
communication. They set up and they went to the game store, didn't play.
Yep.
Oh.
They just talked about, they were like looking at their models and talking about the paint, and then they just went home. But like, hopefully that happens less, where it's like, oh, I didn't realize that your army, I can't beat.
Like
I can't play against that.
every army should be dynamic enough to like play around those gaps with good play, but like to come up to the table and know that you're just like, that model's going to do whatever it wants. It's
For the whole game.
It's going to trounce me. It's going to score all the points.
Yeah.
It's not a game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took what, like 3 years to get 9th edition into somewhat of a decent balance. We're making progress. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, right. I think this is a step in the. I think hopefully after this we'll have less of those. Oh, this faction can't play against that faction. I want to see the tiers sort of meld together more.
Yeah.
And I think that it's possible they over-adjusted on some factions, and I'd rather they do that than under-adjust. I think they did a little bit of both. I think they under-adjusted Eldar and over-adjusted several other factions. But that's better. If we meld everybody together and then Eldar just messed up, cool. I just won't play with Eldar, right? Like, that's a simple solution. Or, I don't, maybe... It's kind of annoying when people are like, "Oh, I'll never play blank faction," but you get what I'm saying, right? Like if everybody else is playing good games, that's a step in the right direction.
That's good. Yeah, there's more good games hopefully than there were yesterday. Yeah, and that's a win. Amazing.
Data slate.
Anything else? Data slate.
That was it. We covered the whole data slate.
Do we have any super chats?
We do. This one came in during the game.
We played that game, huh?
Yeah. And it is. Hold.
Ooh.
Hold.
Oh, she got the right scene immediately. I wouldn't have remembered which scene it was.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
I've got a terrible memory, but I remember certain things,
Nice.
and scenes are one of them.
It's almost like muscle memory. Like it all
Yeah,
comes back.
yeah.
Load in the matrix.
This is from Whiskery. Thank you, Whiskery. Thank you. Whiskey.
Good to hear from you.
And they say, sorry if this has been asked a million times and that it's not 40k related, but any chance Titans and Tights MCP is coming back? Friends and I have been getting back into MCP, and I was curious.
Oh, good question. A lot of new models coming out, new rules for MCP.
The new core.
Oh, the new core box, that's right.
Yeah.
So I played a game of MCP while I was in Vancouver
Yeah.
with Play On.
Nice.
That game's not released yet.
Ooh, it's not? Oh, look forward to that.
Look forward to that. We don't have the new core box, which we will need to get.
Will we? They changed that much? Like core rules changed, or like just models? We want the new
So
models.
it's a redo or a redux of the original core box.
Okay.
Um,
Like literally same models and everything, right?
Same characters.
Yeah. Characters, different models, different sculpts. Yeah.
You're gonna want the new core box. I don't know how much is. You're gonna want the new core box. That's what I'll say. You're gonna want the
Oh,
new
is it
core
not?
box.
Like, okay.
I don't think it's out,
Oh, okay.
No, it's not out yet.
Don't say
but you're gonna want it. I can tell you that much. If you're if you're an MCP person,
it's probably strong.
well, it's you're gonna want it. The models are dope. There's a lot about it that you're gonna want
The power creep in this game is what I'm sad about, and I'm sure it's going to stay the same.
in MCP.
Yeah.
What? The power creep in MCP?
Deadpool, man!
Okay, the first.
I want to use old Wolverine.
The game's been out for like 4 years or something. The first year of releases was rough. Yeah. But there's a new Wolverine. There will eventually be a new Deadpool. That's just how it goes. And they've been pretty good about bringing up the bad. They did one full go through of giving everybody a new sheet. All the old people.
Nice.
You went from the vertical sheets to the horizontal sheets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm sure they could do that again. They could make Daredevil not bad.
2 chimichangas.
Double the chimichanga.
Ooh.
Dual wielding. Yes, we do want to get back to MCP. There's a lot of other games we also want to play. There's just a lot going on. But I'm committed to getting another game back on the channel.
Yeah.
Probably like a month from now.
Yeah, things have to calm down. People have to stop traveling.
Yeah. We're
And
traveling
then-
a lot.
Yeah.
And then the game that will be on the channel, I believe roughly a month from now,
Yeah.
is not MCP, but I think a lot of MCP players will enjoy this game. The models are dope, and it gives some of that competitive spirit. I think a lot of our 40k audience is going to like this game that we're going to be playing in about a month.
Nice. I would categorize MCP as like second or third tier. As in like second or third in line to be played. It's not at the tippy top, but
It's close to my tippy
it's
top.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
Would you play Shatterpoint before MCP?
No.
There you go. So it's probably second tier. It's probably second in line.
Yeah.
As
I
soon as
think
we get
MCP
this
is my second
mysterious
line.
game that you've never heard of before on the channel.
Well, you might have heard of it,
You might have heard of it.
but you haven't heard it from us.
Not from us.
But we'll be playing.
That's
That wasn't
Excellent.
cryptic at all.
Gotta keep guessing.
Excellent. Thank you. We've got another question. This one is from Fate Stay Dreamer. Thank
up?
you, Fate Stay. They say, hey, TTT, my Emerald Conclave Black Templar list got 240 points cheaper.
Whoa!
New list, 2 by 6 by BVG plus Chap plus Redeemer. Helbrecht, LT plus Brethren plus Redeemer. Grim plus Assault Ints. Adding 2 Predator Annihilators. Any thoughts?
Yes. Yes.
That's cool. Wow, 2 Redeemers.
Yeah, so the list above the 2 Predators is what it used to be.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
2 Redeemers. Yeah. Yeah.
I ran 2 Redeemers at Nova, and boy, I hated them. They're 2 damage.
Yeah, I don't know why.
My rubrics wept. I was like, oh, back to sand, back to dust.
They became ash. Yeah. I like that you've identified what this list struggles to deal with, and you put in laser cannons.
Massive laser cannons. This is good.
I think it's the right call.
Yeah, I really like the 240. I like that you were never really depending on your Super Soakers, Desolation Marines.
Yo, can we talk about the fact that Desolation Marines is max 5 now?
Yeah.
And how ingenious of a solution that is?
Because the multiplier is cut in half.
What, and you just won't do it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
they made a change that allows people who just like Desolation Marines for the model or whatever, I don't know if those people exist, those people can still play it, and it's still fine.
Yep.
But the people who are just like, oh, well, 10 of them plus this character and that buff and this strat kills everything in the whole game and takes 20 minutes to do it, those people won't do that anymore. So now we won't have 20 minutes of our day wasted every game against Space
Bridger, a
Marines.
huge fan of this change. Yeah, I think it makes sense. It makes sense. I agree. It's a cool list. I love that you have Helbricht and Grimaldus. I love it. I love it. I don't know what else is there to say. Like, it's a good list. It's cool.
It's good looking too. They keep posting pictures in Hobby Progress.
Yeah.
Good looking armor.
It probably lacks a little bit utility, but I mean, you got hammers on hammers, man. Yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
Shake those cameras like maracas.
Yeah. Those redeemers. Shake those because they're Blade Guard veterans inside.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fate Stay.
This next one is from Matthew Powell. Thank you, Matthew. And Matthew says, looking at the new box set for MCP, it looks amazing. All new sculpts and everything. I'm going to want to get it, as I didn't get into it originally. Bridger, you should be more excited than you already are.
Look, okay, look. I am very excited, but I don't currently have the box.
Ooh.
So I need to get the box,
Yeah.
which, because Atomic Mass Games does not acknowledge me.
Or
Acknowledge me,
existence.
senpai. Because they don't care about me. I get it. Their games market themselves. They have
Sure.
Star Wars, they have Marvel.
Yeah, great.
They don't need me.
Yeah,
I get that.
great franchises.
But I just want to be able to cover their core box on launch, and I can't. So I have to wait for it to be released to the general public, which is me, just a guy.
You're just a guy, Bridger.
I mean, I am just a guy, but some people think I'm not, and that's great. I take advantage of that, but not them. So I have to wait to get the box because I don't have the box. It is a dope box.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they're redoing their core box because it's been like, what, 3.5, 4 years since they, like, this is probably the first product that came out for them.
Yep.
And they probably need a refresh because, I mean, a lot of things have changed.
It's awesome. I don't know how much is public, but the box is awesome.
I think,
Have they shown pictures of the models?
yes, they have.
Yeah. I've definitely
Yeah.
seen Zemo.
They did that at
Nova?
Adepticon?
Gen.
Gen
Gen
Con.
Con, yeah.
They
Did they show all the models?
maybe
Okay, I won't say
think they
anything.
The
showed the
Zemo pose is
box.
different.
Yeah, they showed the box set with all of the models.
Oh,
And then, yeah, I think they showed all of them.
okay.
Because when you were talking about it, and then I went and looked it up on their Instagram and saw everything
Okay.
that you were
Cool.
you were talking about. Yeah.
So cool. There is a new grunt model, John,
Oh.
and it's in that box.
Ooh.
And it's
You know grunts are good.
dude,
Any
everything in that box is awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the first thing people buy is the
Yes.
core because it comes with
Yep.
all the goodies that you need to play the game.
Yep.
So it's good that it's hopefully a good value. You're going to get like some cost savings there. And then also like just good, solid teams to start your MCP experience.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Not sponsored, but we definitely like the game. It's a very cool, balanced,
Fun game.
fun game.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Matthew Powell.
Yeah, thank you. This next one is from Peter Kosterman. Thank you, Peter. Do SG now have play for BA?
Did Sengar go down in points?
I'm sure they did. They were stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Like, why would you ever spend like 300 plus points on Sanguinary Guard that really just die as fast as poopy Terminators? They're poopy Terminators.
I'm pulling up the Munitorum Field Manual.
Wow.
Blankles.
Gosh, I don't think Blood Angels as a detachment is playable competitively.
How
I
many
think it's
points?
So, like, even if you saved, like, Space Marines probably saved like 200 to 300 points per list. Even if you saved 300 points on a Blood Angel army, I don't think it's playable.
How many points would you pay for one Sanguinary Guard?
One
Like
Sanguinary Guard?
how many would you pay per Sanguinary Guard?
Oh man. 4? No, that's too cheap. I would pay 17. Is that? No, that's
17 points per Sanguinary Guard? Are you insane?
no. That's cheap.
What?
I don't know. I'm panicking.
That's like
That's 170.
That's like
Or
3
10.
guardsmen.
Yeah. Really? No, I would pay 21. 21.
Okay, well,
210 points
you're
for
gonna be
10 of them.
real sad. They're 35 a model.
Huh. What were they before?
I don't know.
35. So actually, still 350 points
Yep.
for 10.
Mhm.
It's
It's a lot.
That's still a lot. So to answer your question, Peter, no. Have no play. I think jump pack fly infantry is very, very strong. I think they still hit really hard. Dante is probably still too expensive to take. And they just don't do enough. At best, you're trading 1 for 1 and then they'll die. They're punching up, man. I don't know. It just seems very expensive. More steps.
Yeah.
It's not a really fighty edition yet, so
I think it's getting less fighty. The fightiest faction, I think, might be real bad now.
well, Custodes, yeah.
I
Do you
think
think they're bad? They're bad.
I think they fundamentally dismantled everything that faction was good at, and now that it has no
I
identity.
think it has solid data sheets. Do I think it's bad
for the price? For
No,
the points?
I think it's B plus, B tier, maybe. But I think Custodes still have play.
We'll have to see it shake out.
Not at the tippy top tables, but I think they're
Right. I think they're almost competitively non-viable at this point.
they're not efficient. No.
That they just don't. Like, I don't see a reason to play them over any other faction. Anything you think they
Look,
do,
you
somebody
would
else does
play
better.
you would play them over Blood Angels. I'll tell you what.
No, teleporting Dreadnought's pretty cool.
Yeah, but if you're gonna play Teleporting Dreadnought, just play Deathwatch.
Ooh. Whoa, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's suboptimal. There's a better choice to do the same thing.
Yes, Custodes and Blood Angels. They are both at this point, I think, suboptimal.
Where's the jump from Custodes? Your Custodes might as well play Eldar. I don't know.
What?
Like what? If they're suboptimal, what's the better pick than Custodes?
Oh, Dark Angels.
Oh, Dark Angels. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. I think Dark Angels are just better Custodes now.
Yeah. Okay, fine. You win.
You can have 10 Terminators in Dark Angels. They weren't told you can't have 10 models.
Yeah.
We were. Which was our, mind you, only superpower. Was that we could have 10 kind of tough guys in one squad.
You can make this all 10, -1 damage, or -1 to wound.
At 5, it's almost none of the strats feel worth it.
Sure. Well, I mean, maybe if your points got nerfed too bad, then at least you're only taking 5 instead of 10 now. You just cut those out of your list. You're actually running the same amount of units with less models. So it's not like you're having to piece them out, To make you
I'm
feel
getting
better.
trolled right now.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
A sore topic that we've dove into. I really want to play Blood Angels, though. They're fun.
Yeah, they're a fun faction.
Cool.
Yeah, so that is actually our last quiz.
Amazing. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We have on Saturday 2 games for the price of 1, starting at 9 a.m.
starting at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
3 hours earlier than our normal start time. That's me. I think I got that slot.
Yeah, I think you got
Because you can't. I'm going back to sleep after my game.
this. I won't go to sleep. I'll just stay up, and if I had a 9 o'clock game.
Oh, okay. Because you have a 1 p.m. game, which is our next game.
Yeah.
And in between, there's something special. It's not even on this channel.
Well. Wait, we could say that. We don't have to be coy about it. Right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I don't know. Lindsay's just like...
I don't want to speak for other channels.
Oh, that's true. All right, we did it.
We did it.
Thank you, Bridger, for an amazing game. Lindsay, amazing host.
Thank you, John.
And
for an amazing game.
and our chat, of course, amazing as always. We'll catch you next time on the tabletop.
Bye.
Bye.